ThekarmicDF.
What is up, guys? It is your girl, the Karmic DF from TikTok, back to you again with another video. This time we're going to focus on self-care. It's going to hopefully be a quick video. So this is for, the full moon that's coming up, but also, if you burn out a lot, if you feel drained a lot and you're wondering why you're always tired, always exhausted, then these are tips that I've used to make sure that my energy is the best that it can be every single day, because I know how important it is to stay grounded and to stay centered. So if you don't want to be tired anymore, if you're wondering why do I always feel icky, if you just want to know how to take better care of yourself, then this is the video for you. So as always, if you enjoy these, please leave a like. I appreciate the support so much. If you enjoyed these, also comment down below what you'd like to see in the future. Hit the notification bell and subscribe. And as always, let's get into it. So above all else, if you get nothing from this video, the one thing that I want you to do, because I promise you, you will feel a difference in 3 weeks, because like I've said in many videos, it takes 21 days to make something a habit. So it's hard to see results if we're like too rushed to see them. So remember that it does take 3 weeks to make things a habit. But each and every night, I want you to make it a priority to put your phone on Do Not Disturb, so that in the morning time, you have a minimum of 20-30 minutes of time alone. That means no checking emails, no checking Facebook, no checking if you have any messages, none of that. Because what you're essentially doing is you're setting yourself up for failure, because I want you to think about the news alone, right? So say you wake up first thing in the morning, grab your phone, you put it on Facebook, right? And then all of a sudden you see this article about a submarine. We won't get any further. And now you're in a bad mood. You have set your whole day up to be in that energy, because you have set your day not in your own energy, but in the energy of other people. What we don't realize is that we take a lot of energy off of our screens. And so that's kind of why there is some danger involved in social media, because there's too much, and that's why, side note, you should probably get an app that, I have social fever, that's what it's called. I don't have social fever, literally. It's an app that helps you maintain and realize how much you're actually scrolling, because what you're essentially doing is you are looking for immediate dopamine hits, and it's training your brain to look for immediate satisfaction. And the problem with that, and this is science, this is not just spiritual here, is that if you are doing this where you need this immediate dopamine hit, it's harder for you to slow down, and it's harder for you to appreciate things as they slowly develop. So let's say you're waiting on something, I don't know why, but I'm getting Spirit, thank you. Okay, thank you. Traffic, for instance, is a weird example, but it does work. If you are in a really good mood, right, you're having a really good day, and then someone cuts you off, I know that you'll have a moment where you're like, ugh, but you're not as angry. But then go to a day where you're already mad, right? You're running late, you might have had a fight with someone in the house, and now you're at a red light and you are fuming. But let's be honest, are you really mad about the red light, or are you mad about an accumulation of things that led up to this moment of the red light or of people cutting you off? What we don't realize is that our bodies were not designed for social media and to take it in so much. And so when we wake up in the morning and the first thing we do is scroll, and you're seeing posts of negativity, then you're absorbing that negativity, and that is becoming a part of your energy for the day. So I need you to get used to your own energy. Take the first 20-30 minutes of your day. Don't go on social media. For the love of God, if you've been following me and you're still watching the news, turn off the news. It's not healthy. It's not good for you. If you really need to know that bad, you could get a little in the Google search, whatever. But you really don't need to be knowing about what's going on in the rest of the world. Focus on yourself, unless there's something you could actually do about these things. But if you can take that 20-30 minutes to just be alone in your own energy, you could do a body scan, see how you're feeling. More often than not, you're going to feel a tightness in your shoulders that you didn't realize was there before, because you're probably stressed out like most of the world, and you're probably just going to feel tension in places that you haven't really noticed before, because you're so used to being uncomfortable. We have gotten comfortable getting uncomfortable. I feel like I said that backwards. We've gotten comfortable. Yeah, no, that's right. It's just, it feels like an oxymoron, because that's not how we should be living. So the morning is crucial. This is how you start your day. So how does your day look like in the morning? Are you getting up and then taking a shower, maybe listening to upbeat music, and then eating a healthy meal, and then after a good 30 minutes, maybe even longer depending, then you go on your phone. But you have to understand that you don't even know what your energy feels like because you've been running away from it for so long. If you're starting your day checking up on everybody else, then you have no idea what's going on inside of you. And that is what is so fundamentally important, because what if on that day you don't feel good and you're tired and you don't realize that, and then you go on social media and you're reading all these negative posts, and then you're thinking something's wrong with you, but you're actually on like energetic overload because you have your stress and the stress of the 50 people who you just scrolled past. It really is all about energy. Energy is all around us. We are energy. Energy can be transferred through phones. And so if you're constantly, TikTok, like I know I came from TikTok, but that's something that you can't do more than like an hour on because it will really mess up your psyche. It is a constant dopamine kick. And when you are constantly chasing dopamine, it is harder for you to be more mindful, to be more present, because you are constantly looking for the next hit. It's just like another addiction. This one I'm going to brush over because I've said it in multiple videos, and whether or not you choose to do it, you choose to do it. But silent meditation and guided meditations are also extremely important to be able to slow down the mind, to slow down the body, to slow down the breath, so that you can literally be mindful and present. Because think about it, we live in this fast-paced world, this fast-paced society, right? So we don't really stop to take time for ourselves. And that's why we get sick. That's why it's easier for our immune systems to be lower. And then you have autoimmune disorders and you have disease. And where does disease come from? Dis-ease of the body. If you're not listening to your body and you're only listening to your mind and your logic, and you're like, well, I got to go to work and I got to do this and I got to do that, and your body's like, I'm in pain here, you need to listen to that. You have to honor that. And I know that it's not easy for everybody because, some people have a 9-to-5 and they have to do that work 5 days a week. Well, then prioritize it on the days that you can, or on the nights that you can. If there's laundry that needs to be done and there's dishes in the sink, but you feel like crap, then it's time for you to sit on your couch and rest and relax and rejuvenate. We live in a society where we feel a lot of shame around taking care of ourselves because we feel the need to take care of others. We feel the need to be ahead of things, proactive, responsible, productive, but we've completely disregarded our own needs, our own emotions, our own fulfillment. And so we sit here and we wonder, well, what's wrong with us? Why is our mental health so bad? But you're sitting there and you're living off of stimulants like drinking 6 coffees and then smoking weed to avoid your problems. And I'm not shitting on it because, been there. And then you're watching true crime, and then you're listening to music about violence and how you hate the world. And then you're wondering, why your mental health isn't good. I don't know, guys. That's really hard. I don't know. But let me tell you, when I switched my world around and I made sure that I don't get on my phone within the first hour, because I silent meditate first thing in the morning, and then I do a protection meditation after that, and then I take my shower, and then I open my phone. And I also am mindful about who is on my social media. Do I constantly have people on my feed that are, and I don't mean to be this in a rude way, but are they constantly complaining about their lives? And it's the people that complain about their lives but do nothing about it. They complain for the sake of complaining, but they have no actual desire to change their lives. Those people, are they benefiting your life? Are they adding to your life? You have to start getting picky with the people that you let into your life, because they are also going to be contributing to either adding to your energy or taking away from it. And it's not selfish to realize that maybe you've outgrown some people because you want better for yourself, while other people are happy being complacent. Here's another one that seems kind of simple, but it's actually not, and especially hard for men because society especially frowns on men having emotions. But we also need to know what it's like to be in silence, because we don't always know what's going on inside of us. A lot of times we'll be like, oh, I'm really stressed, but I have no idea what's going on. And this is something that I've had to learn through practice, because I was one of those people where I was go, 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 go. And then I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so upset? Why am I so anxious? Why am I so this, that? Now I've gotten into a habit where if I feel off, I'll go, all right, I need to turn everything off. And I'll turn off my phone, I will turn off the TV, and I will sit in silence and I'll just wait. And I'll be like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? And I'll give it a minute. And then all of a sudden it's like word vomit starts to come out of my mouth. And I'm like, oh, screw this person that did this thing. And why do I'm so mad at this because this happened. And you will realize that you suppressed a lot of stuff that you thought was no big deal, but in reality, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So if you were angry at any point, at any time throughout your life, and you push that stuff down, guess what? It is still in your system. And if you do not acknowledge it and let that stuff out, it will still consistently be within your system. And I'm especially, like, I know I have predominantly female audiences, so women that have been told to be silenced, or just men as a whole, we need to get used to feeling those sad emotions and those angry emotions, and we can't be beating ourselves up for those feelings. So if emotions are coming up for you where you're like, I don't know why this is happening, but I'm really sad about this thing from like 2 years ago, well, I guess it's time for you to finally address it and be sad about it and honor that feeling. You know, if you're upset, and yeah, it's from a while ago and it doesn't make sense, it's likely due to the fact that when it was going on, either out of, you know, saving yourself from more problems or because you just didn't know how to deal with it at the time, you pushed it down. Well, now your body's saying it's time for it to come up. So let it come up for you. So, you know, as you're doing your spiritual awakening, if you are, you know, a spiritual person, you're going to start getting this purge of like random emotions, and you're going to have these moments where you're like, I don't understand why I'm angry about this thing from when I was 17 years old. I don't understand why I feel like crying about this thing that happened over a year ago. And it's like, don't gaslight yourself. Your body is trying to get rid of that energy so that you could come back home to yourself. And this is what I've been trying to push on this channel, is that we are so disconnected from ourselves, from our wants, from our needs, from who we are fundamentally, because society has taught us that we are only of value when we are productive. We are only of value when we are working. We are only of value when we have things, when we, you know what I mean? And that's not how it works. We are multi-dimensional beings. We have feelings, complex emotions, and we have been taught in society not to, you know, cause a fight, not to burn bridges, not to do that, not to do this. And so we've learned to silence our voice. And so guess what? That's energy that gets trapped. And, you know, correlation doesn't always equal causation, but I want you to notice, especially with men, look at how many men pass away of heart attacks. And then also notice that men are more often the predominant ones that are not allowed to feel their feelings. But no one's putting two and two together here. Disease, autoimmune disorders. This is all a mixture of not taking care of yourself. What is your body trying to tell you right now? Do you need to rest? Is it time to rest? And then if your brain is like, well, I can't rest because I'm supposed to go grocery shopping, well, I guess it's time to DoorDash. I guess it's time to do something different, because you need to be listening to your body first. Your needs come first. You come first. If you have a friend that needs help, but you're in a low vibrational energy yourself, then you have to have the courage to say, hey, I care about you, but unfortunately, I'm not at a place where I can be there for you fully. I will reach out to you when I can, and leave it at that, because you need to learn to start prioritizing yourself. We collectively are heading in a very different direction, and we're getting to a place where you can't avoid your emotions anymore. We're all seeing it. We're all seeing the breakdown of relationships we never thought was possible. We're all seeing the breakdown of things that we just can't tolerate anymore. It's happening on a global scale, and the more other people do it, the more you're going to feel it, because we are all connected energetically. And so if you keep bypassing your feelings, it's just going to come back to you tenfold. It's just going to come out in different ways. So do you want anxiety disorders? Do you want actual disease? Do you want it to turn into something unhealthy? Or do you want to get it right at the beginning? This, me being healthy today, this came with a lot of crying. This came with a lot of FUs and I can't believe this happened to me in middle school, and oh my God, and putting all the puzzle pieces together of why I felt the way that I felt. When we don't get home to ourselves, get comfortable in the silence, it's because we're running away from things that we have to face. And if we don't face that, then that is denying ourselves the self-care that is so important. Because even though it's scary to cry, it's scary to feel those angry emotions, when you let that shit out, it's out for good. It might come back around because you might have more healing to do around that topic, that category. You might not be fully over it. It might have to come in spurts if it was a big traumatic situation. But self-care does also require releasing things that we've trapped in our system, which has a lot to do with our past. We as a society have been taught to stay in our divine masculine energy. Be productive. Go, go, go. Don't listen to your emotions. Don't listen to your body. Don't listen to your needs. So self-care has a lot to do with unlearning all of that behavior, accepting that we are imperfectly perfect just the way that we are, and listening to what we need to do moving forward, what our body is asking of us. If it's a Saturday and you managed to sleep like 11 hours and now you're mad at yourself because you've lost the day, no, your body needed that 11 hours of sleep because you refused to take that time in caring for yourself. So what other option does your body have than to sleep and sleep? And I hear time and time again where people are like, well, what am I supposed to do when I have to work? So I have to drink coffee and I have to keep myself going. And it's like, all right, but what do you do after work? And they're like, well, then I got to do this and I got to do that. And it's like, where in that was prioritizing yourself and your needs? Where in that was you relaxing? Where in that was you honoring your emotions? Where? And the reality is, y'all don't make no time for that. And that's why you're uncomfortable. That's why you don't feel good. That's why you're overwhelmed. And a lot of this is other people's energy because you add in social media. So it's just a freaking, like, all I'm seeing is like a gray cloud over my head right now. It's so much energy that doesn't need to be in your system anymore. But it's up to you to make that choice to say, hey, I have to prioritize my own well-being, my own needs. I feel a little off today. So let me take time to myself and ask why it is that I feel off, and then follow that and be okay with what comes up, because maybe it's time for something to come up that you couldn't deal with when it was going on, but now it's time for you to deal with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with crying about something that happened 3 years ago. If it's coming up for you now, that means it's time and you are ready. And honor that and be proud of yourself, because that means that you're ready to let go of something, which is just like I'm seeing a backpack and I'm seeing like rocks coming out of the backpack. It's like you're slowly letting go of all of this weight that is on your shoulders. But in order to do that, you can't gaslight yourself anymore. You have to start to really take care of yourself. And that starts with listening to your body, listening to your needs. Final self-care tips. These ones are obvious. They're my favorites. Take some salt baths. I know that sounds lame. I don't care if you're a man, you too. But salt baths are really good for cleansing your energy, cleansing the body. Or, if you live near an ocean, get in the ocean. But it helps to detoxify you. It helps to alleviate the pain in your body. And you will have pain in your body if you are, holding in any form of pain emotionally and mentally. So baths are really important. Getting outside in nature. I know, it's so hard, awful. But getting outside in nature and just laying in the grass, it is a natural detoxifier. If you put your bare feet in the grass for 30 minutes medium, oh my goodness, 30 minutes minimal. Girl, what? If you put your feet in the grass for a minimum of 30 minutes, it will help cleanse out the negative energy that's in your body and help you reground, recenter, and rebalance your energy. It's why it's very important to be outside as often as possible. It's why people feel so much better after they take hikes, after they take long walks, and they're like, I don't know why I feel so good. It's because you're releasing that extra built up, pent up energy inside of your body that has had nowhere to go. So baths, getting out into nature, two very fundamental things that are so easy to do that will help you so much in your energy. Lastly, and I've said this in other videos, what are you intaking in your day-to-day life? Like I said before with the whole coffee, smoking, vaping, nicotine, then watching true crime, then, going to sleep with the television on of true crime. Guilty as charged. I used to do that. Law and Order was like my go-to sleep show, which is just like, oh my God, it's no wonder I was so mentally unwell. You have to think about what it is that you're taking in. For instance, when I have good energy and I'm in the shower, I try to have a silent shower nowadays, but if I need to get a little energy pep, I will have a playlist of like what I call boss bitch energy vibes. And it's all higher vibrational music of like, I'm going to take on the world. Like, this is my fight song, take back my life song, kind of getting yourself into that physiological state of like, yeah, I'm ready to take on the world, let's go. Because your mind has to get to a place of, I can do this, I want to do this, I want to be better, I want to do better. But if your outside world doesn't look like what you want the inside to be, then you are going to mimic the outside world. So like I've said in prior videos, when you're constantly around people that are speaking negatively, you're going to absorb that, similar to negative shows. I'm not saying that you have to cut out true crime and cut out horror movies and that, but treat it like ice cream. You know what I mean? You're not going to eat ice cream morning, afternoon, and night. You can't be doing that to your body. It really does have an impact on you. It has an impact on your mental health as well. Start to watch lightweight things. You know, I used to make fun of so many people. I feel like such a jerk for it now, for like watching Marvel and stuff like that. I was like, that stuff is so lame. But then I realized I was not in touch with my inner child at all. And, you know, I didn't really have a normal childhood. So it was, prior videos, watch other videos, but I didn't have a normal childhood, and so I didn't really get to enjoy the whole like Disney era like other people did. And so I really hated that type of stuff, and I made fun of the Marvel movies and the Disney movies. And guess what? That stuff now can bring up my mood like this. It's wild. And also rom-coms. If you're a girl, rom-coms really help. Think about what it is that you're listening to. Think about what it is that you're watching. Think about what it is that you're eating. I know that everybody hates to hear that one, but if you're eating a crap ton of processed foods, I want you to go look up a YouTube video about the fat in processed foods. Like, look at the videos that they've had where they did experiments on like when processed foods were supposed to expire, and then like they didn't actually get moldy for like months and months and months. Like, I've had bread that like didn't go old for way too long. And that is telling you something. It's processed. It's not meant to be in your body. And I can't convince you to just quit cold turkey. But if you want a healthy body, if you want to get fit, lose weight, non-GMO and organic is the way to go. A lot of fruits and vegetables especially is important for self-care, because those align with your chakras. You know, if you have trouble connecting with your heart space, eat a lot of green foods. If you have trouble feeling grounded in your body, eat a lot of red foods, apples, strawberries. If you have trouble speaking your truth, eat blue fruits like blueberries. You know, they are actually connected. What is retrograde right now? Saturn? I think it's Saturn. I don't know, but I'm having trouble talking today. But if you really prioritize your mental health, your physical health, then you will see a difference. And I know, and I feel it, and I could just feel it. Whoever's watching this is like, this is a lot of work. I don't want to change all this stuff. You don't have to change it all at once, believe me. Because the moment I learned all this stuff, I was like, oh my God, I have to cut out and that was not easy. I had to cut out caffeine. Oh God, that was even harder. And I didn't want to. I did not want to, believe me. But you know what happened when I did? My body became used to its own internal guidance system again. I don't need caffeine to have this level of energy anymore. I just drink cold water first thing in the morning. And my body can actually rejuvenate itself because I'm not stealing the energy that should have been in my body through caffeine. Because if you think about it, when you're drinking caffeine, you're boosting up what you already don't have. So then you're taking from an already depleted system. So how are you going to keep like filling your cup up? Like, I just keep seeing a cup that's trying to be filled, but like there's a hole in the bottom. And it's like, well, it's because you're not taking care of yourself. Are you getting your daily multivitamins? Are you exercising to some extent? Even if that's just taking one 30-minute walk a day. That's all it takes. There is so much energy in your system. You are made of energy. And if you're taking in constant negative energy everywhere and you're wondering what's wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with you. You need to expel all of that negative energy. You are an energetic being, and you have to start taking that seriously if you want to start feeling better, living better, doing better. Is your daily routine waking up, checking Facebook, watching the news and the horrors of the news, even though you don't know those people, so why are you worried about it? And bringing down your own feelings, and then you're just going off into the world being miserable all day and you have no idea why. It's because you're not listening to your body. You're not listening to your navigation system. People did live one day prior to social media, prior to processed foods, prior to caffeine, prior to all this BS that we've created. and they were good. They lived off the land. I mean, look at third world countries, even though they have it hard. You ever notice that you see these documentaries, and though they have it hard, they're actually relatively happy because they understand that the meaning of life is not to escape it. And that's what we're really doing, is we're escaping our life. We're escaping the feelings we don't want to feel. We're escaping the emotions we don't want to have. We're escaping the pain that we don't want to acknowledge. And when we do that, we're just letting it fester in our bodies until it has nowhere to go. Women especially, you don't want to have that gut anymore because, girl, can relate. Then stop being that person that just pushes all those emotions down, because that's where it's going to go. It goes right in here because it's protecting your organs. That's why that fat stores there. It's protecting your body. It's meant to protect. But we are not in this survival state anymore. Unfortunately, social media is a big reason why we've become like that again. That, and that we live in this masculine energy where we have to go, 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 and disrespect our feelings and emotions. They are all tied together. It is all connected together. So if you want to practice self-care, you have to practice mindfulness. You have to practice listening to your body, listening to your needs, listening to yourself. If you wake up in the morning, you got that first 20, 30 minutes alone, and you're like, I feel weird and sad today. Well, then let's dive into that. Why do we feel weird and sad today? Let's go. Let's do the work. All right, now we're crying about something from middle school. Well, we're crying about something from middle school, but guess what? We're letting that out of our system. We're going to feel better later. It's going to be weird because we're not used to it. We're not used to a society that allowed us to cry, that allowed us to feel our feelings. I mean, as early as childhood, when we were in school, don't cry, don't touch that, don't, listen, don't, we live in an upside down world, and it's really frustrating. But when you start to listen to your body, when you start to really hear what it has to say, when you feel, because this is where you're going to feel first thing, when you actually turn off everything and first thing in the morning, this is where you're probably going to feel it. You're going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't notice that my shoulders, they feel a lot tense. Like, I don't like that feeling. It's because we have become so disconnected from who we're meant to be. And when you can honor that and start to listen to your body and start to listen to what's coming up for you, maybe all of a sudden you're sad about like an old relationship and you're like, but I am over that relationship. And it's like, okay, you are over that relationship. That's true. But you didn't process the emotions involved in that relationship. And now it's time. And so you put on that rom-com, you have a good cry, and those emotions, those energies are being expelled so that you can feel good and come home to yourself, be in harmony with yourself. We got to stop gaslighting our emotions. We got to stop gaslighting our needs. We have to prioritize ourselves first. So I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know how to have a short video, to be honest with you. I've learned a lot and I want to share it all, because if I didn't learn this stuff, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I feel a lot healthier, happier, more in tune with myself than I've ever been. And I want everybody else to feel that way. And it starts with doing the work. And the work is sometimes a little hard. Self-care itself can be hard because sometimes self-care is crying on the bedroom floor. I swear to God, it is. You might cry for 3 hours. You have no idea what's going on. It's old energy that needs to be expelled. That's it. It's that simple. But if we run away from our mind, if we run away from what's in here, it's got to go somewhere else. So then you get those health issues. You get the stomach you don't want to have. You get the everything I've already said. You can't bypass those things. And so self-care requires you to listen to what's going on inside of you. And that scares a lot of us because we're afraid of what's going to come up. But the more you do it, the more you get used to it. I promise you, over the past at least year of me actually learning to listen to my body, I've had multiple mental breakdowns, where I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm crying today. Don't really know why, but it's happening. And then I feel great the next day. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, this thing that used to bother me doesn't affect me at all anymore. The person that used to be like the person I was so angry at, oh, I'm so angry at you. Now I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Because I let those energies come through me. But when we start our day on our phone, and then we go to the next thing we got to do, and then we go do the next thing we got to do, and then we go to our bed, and then we rinse, wash, repeat, and we never let our mind have a chance to let that stuff come out. And journaling, also journaling, and if you don't want a pen and paper because you have a fast mind like me, there's journal apps. You have to let that stuff purge out. It's similar to you know, if you drink too much and you have to, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that, but with energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just exists. If your energy, and you are taking on energy from screens, you're taking on energy from television, you're taking on energy because your friends are trauma dumping on you, you're taking on energy because you're not dealing with your own stuff, then yeah, it's going to be really hard to self-care because you don't ever listen to your body and your needs. You have to prioritize you above all else. And when you are the best version of yourself, then you can be the best version of other people as well. So don't find it as selfish, because the more you can show up for you, the more you can be better for other people. I was not a very helpful person when I was drinking and feeling sorry for myself. I was not contributing positivity to other people's lives, but now I do, because I pour into myself. When I don't feel good, I listen to that and I go to self-care, even if I don't like it. And believe me, I'm someone who wants to be productive 24/7 if I had a choice. But unfortunately, my body does not agree. And so I have to listen to that. And every morning when I wake up, I go, okay, I'm listening. What do we need today? And if today says, hey, you can't read clients today, you can't do tarot readings, you need to lay down on your couch, today might be a day where you're going to have to cry. All right, fine. Today's a day where you need to level up your energy. It's probably a good time to watch some stand-up comedy. All right, fine. All right, today's a day where you are too overstimulated because you've been overwhelmed and you've been going and going. It's time for you to turn off everything and go outdoors. Fine, that's what I'm doing. You have to honor those needs. But in order to do all of that, you have to be able to be in touch with what's going on with your mind in the first place. So stop running from your mind so you could start figuring out what self-care tips you need to begin with. That comes from you. That's how it all starts. Silence the mind so that the mind can tell you what it needs, because all of that stuff never went away. It just found somewhere else to sit. And if you can let yourself be silent, then you can let that stuff come up so you can finally heal, finally let it go, and be the best version of yourself so you can be the best version of yourself for you and those around you that you love and care for. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this video was helpful. If you need a part 2, let me know down in the comments. I think I covered most of it. If you have any other ideas of things that you need help or support in, let me know down in the comments as well. Like this video if it helped. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video. I love you guys so much. Take care, babies. Bye-bye.